Good morning. My name is Katinka. I'm the seamstress at the cottage and welcome back. We are in my craft room today, finally, after many weeks of traveling, and I just love it. This is Bubbles. He's keeping us company today. He's supposed to be my co-host, but he's a bit sleepy, so we'll just leave him in his corner to look pretty. Today is Friday Sews, but I haven't sewed, so I decided to do the hashtag 20 sewing questions that was started by Sewing in Michigan. And I found it so interesting. I've literally been going down this rabbit hole of listening to everybody's questions, answers to the questions. So I am going to do it as well. The first one is, how do you feel about using a new pattern? I don't really care about patterns. I do use them. I love it when I can buy some. South Africa is not always that easy to buy patterns, but I also have found that I have a few favorites and I will stick to it. Like this one, this is a self-drafted dress. There's a McCall's pattern. There's a video where I did that in collaboration with Diane. She actually inspired me to do this video, which is very similar. But this one I self-drafted and I made it to fit me exactly. So I really love it. And I've made it so many times. I've made it with sleeves, without sleeves. And I am actually contemplating making another one because I love it so much. So if you look at using a new pattern, it doesn't scare me and it doesn't do anything. I love it, but I love it just as much to use patterns that I have in my stash and that I have used before. The next one, do you remake and mend? Yes, definitely. I never had fabric when I grew up. I had scraps that I was able to use, and now and again I would have some money and buy some fabric. So for me, fabric is precious. I have only in the last few years got to a place where I could afford just buying when I want. And so I think that mindset is still with me, that if I see something and it doesn't fit anymore or somebody gave it to me, I have no problem unpicking it and cutting something else out of it or just refashioning. And I mend my clothes until the mending is holding the clothes together. I do both. Then, do you make toiles and mockups? If I do for clients, definitely. Sometimes for myself, at the moment, I'm on a quest to find the perfect pant pattern, and I have a suspicion I might have to draw it up myself. But in the meantime, I am trying patterns in fabric that I'm not too attached to, and I've been making things and then just giving it away because it doesn't fit the way I like it. So I think what I need to do is just use I've got some calico, cut it up, do a pattern and just get it over with. Because cutting out paper patterns and then trying to sew them and everything, that takes so long. So I think I must just bite the bullet and make my own. And for that, I will use a toile. Then, how do you feel about pre-washing fabrics? Definitely. As a seamstress, and I've been in the business for, I think, about 35 years. I've sewed for longer, but I've been, about 30 years. I have learned the expensive lesson of not washing the fabric. Every fabric I buy, go into the washing machine on the line, and then I start sewing with it. And also, sometimes there's chemicals in the fabrics that actually affects my skin. So I've just learned through the years not to play with that one. Do you finish your seams and how? Yes, you do. I do finish my seams, and it depends on the fabric. If it is a softer fabric or a lightweight fabric, I would use French seams. Sometimes I will use my overlocker. Sometimes I will even give it bias binding. It really depends on the project and the fabric. The next one. What is your favorite sewing activity? I love the whole process, but I think I love handwork. I love it when a project has handwork, and sometimes I will actually just sit and watch a movie and do some handwork, even if it was not really required. I just find that so soothing and calming. What's your least favorite? My least favorite is making buttonholes. I hate making buttonholes. Back to the point of hand sewing, I will sometimes make the buttonholes by hand because I despise it so much on my sewing machine. Stash fabric or new fabric? I will always go to stash first. I love it when I can buy new fabric. Like I said, it wasn't always available to me. So if I'm in a position and I can buy new fabric, I get so excited. But it's not always the right thing to do. So I have a lot of fabrics in my stash. Some of it was quite a lot of it was given to me, and some I got because a boutique closed down and she was selling it out at such a good price that I just bought quite a lot. And then also when people closed their sewing rooms, they would give me the fabric. And through the years, and my one friend used to love buying fabric for me, so I used to get boxes of fabric from America, which was also amazing. So my stash, back to that point, stash or buy, I don't think it's fair of me to buy fabric if I literally have a whole room full of fabric. So stash, definitely. Are pockets a must? Are pockets a must? Definitely. A dress is not a dress if it doesn't have pockets. Why would you go into all the effort of making your own clothes and then not add a pocket? Pockets must, definitely. I was editing and then I realized that I left some questions out, so I still have my coffee. At the moment, I really struggle to drink coffee. I had a flu bug last week, and basically this week as well. A bit of a tummy and a sinus infection and sore joints like crazy. It's been no fun, but it's affected my taste. So I don't particularly, I feel like coffee, I crave coffee, and then I make the coffee and then I don't want to drink it. Don't know what's going on. I do feel better though, and I'm very thankful for that. So let's go back to the last one was, are pockets a must? Now it is knits or wovens. Oh, my liffy. So I love both. It depends on the garment. It depends on what you need it for. But for dresses, I find woven fabric for dresses, it makes my heart sing. Pants, I prefer not non-stretchy pants. I find stretchy pants can look frumpy very easily. So I don't mind if there's a little bit of a stretch, but total stretch, you won't find me often gravitating to it. And the other thing is, a lot of the fabrics that is stretchy like Ponte and those ones, I really can't stand the feel. I don't mind making it for other people, but I definitely don't want to wear it. So knits, if it's lycra, if it's cotton lycra or viscose lycra, then I don't mind it. I actually love it, but I'm very picky with the knits that I wear. So I would say knits or I would say it's wovens, actually. I love sewing with knits. That's so easy. But for making clothes for me, I prefer wovens. Then, favorite fasteners or no fasteners? So, I like loose clothes. I want to just throw them on and go. But if I do have to put a fastener in, I'm not averse to a zip. Actually, it depends on what you're making. A fastener is a necessity. I don't see it as the one or the other. It depends on the dress or on the pants or whatever you're making. That's the fastener that I would put on. I hate buttonholes, making buttonholes, like I said before, so you won't often find me making buttonholes, I mean. But then sometimes, like I made a top that had buttons down the back. So it depends also on the vision. What is what I'm making and how do I envision it when it's done? And that will dictate the fasteners that I use. I forgot another one, sewing for self or for others. Now, I don't really mind. I love sewing. So a lot of my videos is videos where I'm sewing for others. But I also love dreaming about my wardrobe and what I want to make for myself. And the best thing is when I get to it and I'm able to make it. So it really depends. Sometimes sewing is my job, then I sew for others. Sometimes my friends need stuff, then I sew for them. And sometimes I'm selfish and I just want to sew for myself. YouTube or Instagram? So YouTube I find hard work sometimes to watch all the videos and listen to everybody, not because I don't want to. My brain just gets completely overwhelmed some days, and then it's easier for me to look at pictures. So I think both, but I think when I get to that point where my brain is overwhelmed, then it's Instagram. Dresses or separates? Dresses. I love dresses. I told you about a year ago of how I was always dressed the same as my sisters and they preferred wearing pants. And so this little girl in me who loved dresses is still there and she throws tantrums if I don't put her in a dress. So dresses. How do you get rid of or pass on me makes? Most of my friends love what I make. It is mostly well made. Sometimes I've made a bugger up and then it looks terrible, but it's so strange. A lot of my friends are like, no, I love it. I want it. So I'm not struggling to pass on me makes. Quick sew or involved sew? For myself, I prefer quick sews because lots of my work was always very involved, like wedding dresses or prom dresses, and that takes forever. And then when I got to just sewing for me, I would just use the plainest, simplest pattern, hence this dress, that I know how to make, and that's quick. But I find now that I don't make so much for other people, I actually love to do the involved sews. Next question, social or solitary? For a long time I had a sewing school and then I would have all my friends coming for sewing classes. I'm actually starting it now again in Cape Town and I've now got free students, which is very nice. But I find when I sew, I like to be on my own. I've got a friend, she's awesome, and actually I've got a few friends and they would all come and sew with me, and it also depends on the friend. The one would she would just sit and sew and do the thing. That was fun because we could get a lot done. But the other two, for them, it's more a thing of, the one asks me a lot of questions and I usually don't mind. But when I have a deadline, I get really frustrated. But usually it's just like, oh yeah, let me show you, because I love teaching people. And then the other one use it as friend time, visiting and opening up her heart and all of those things, which is also good. So it really depends on the situation and on my deadlines. Do you have a dedicated space? I do. I love my dedicated space. There's actually a video of it where I give you a tour. I'll put it up and it is so me. And I'm looking at it now. I'm so thankful to have this space. I know not everybody have a space to sew in, but I feel so blessed to have this space. Labels or no labels? I'm tactile intolerant. So I find a label really irritating. But when I make for other people, I put my sewing label in it, and because that's part of your advertisement. And if people take it out, that's also okay. How many % of me-made versus ready to wear? I actually did a video last year where I looked at my winter me-made wardrobe, and I was quite surprised that 80% of my wardrobe is actually me-made. And at the moment, I can think of, I buy my t-shirts, it's just cheaper. So I've got t-shirts, and I recently bought 2 tracksuit pants. And then I've got things that's really old, but that I did alter, that was ready to wear. But I would say it's more than 80% at the moment is my wardrobe. Yeah, let's be modest and say it's 80%. And yes, the reason is then I can choose my fabrics that works on my skin, firstly. Secondly, I really am aware of how fast fashion is actually influencing the environment, and also how it's influencing Africa, where there's heaps of fabric and clothes that you can see from space in some parts of Africa, and it's literally suffocating the environment and causing poverty, even more poverty, because people can't grow their own food in those areas anymore. So for me, I really try not to overconsume, and that is also why I would mend and remake. I really want to actually challenge us as sewers, because I've been seeing a lot of clothes being made, and it's awesome. I'm so happy people are sewing, but I almost want to challenge you to think about the impact of all the clothes, because yes, you're not buying anymore, but if you make 3 tops a month or a week, some people make 3 tops a week, or even if you just make 1 top a week, that's 52 tops. You're not going to be able to wear 52 tops or how many ever dresses. And Yeah, it's your prerogative and it's your position. But I just want you to think about what is your impact on the environment and to just keep that in mind when you make your clothes. Today, I don't have a question or a thought except think about how much your things are impacting the environment. That's quite important. But I do want to say thank you for each of you who come along, for listening to all my ramblings, and for spending time with me. And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.